I'm Debbie. Welcome to PJ Pilates. So we're actually going to start by taking a lie down on your mat. If you don't want to lie down, you can start this first bit seated if you want to. We are going to just focus on some breathing. So if you prefer, stay seated. If you want to, take a lie down on your mat, on your bed, whatever feels comfortable for you. So let's just set up our posture to begin with. So you want to tuck your chin in. If you feel the head is looking too far behind you, just pop a cushion underneath your head, just to encourage the eye gaze in front of you. Relax the shoulders down to the floor, relax the arms by your side, and then just take time and find balance through both sides of the sacrum, feet hip distance apart. Okay, once you're comfortable, you may want to close your eyes. And we're just going to become aware of our breath to begin with. So breathing in through our nose, breathing out through our nose or your mouth, whichever you prefer. We're just allowing our bodies to relax. And bring awareness into our breath, as well as how our body's feeling and whether we're feeling balanced through both sides, through our pelvis, through our feet, through our shoulders. Now, if you want to, you can just stay with just breathing in and out, or we're going to come into some boxed breathing. Now, with boxed breathing, we breathe in for a count of 4 or 5. We hold the breath for a count of the same number as we come across the box. And then we breathe out for that same number and we hold the breath again as we come along the bottom of the breath. So we breathe in. I don't mind how many number you breathe in. Hold the breath. Take a breath out. And then we hold the breath again. So breathing in, pausing, breathing out, and pausing. So I just want you to take some time and focus on your box breathing. It doesn't matter which number we go to. It could be 3, could be 4, could be 5. We're just going to focus at that pause as we breathe in. Breathing out, and another pause at the bottom of the breath. Okay, one more box breath. And then slowly, when you're ready, open your eyes. Okay, let's bring some movement into the body. So we're just going to start with a gentle head tilt. So we're just going to take your head to one side, tuck your chin in. And when you come as far as your neck feels comfortable, bringing the eye gaze back, looking in front of you over your knees. And then coming to the other side. So you may want to breathe in as we come to center. And remember, it's slow as we breathe out and come to the other side. So there's no rush of movement. Smooth. And then come back, chin tucked in. Okay, head stay still. We're going to just lift the arms above your chest. So just make sure they're not high up there above the shoulders, palms facing inwards. Now we're just going to draw one shoulder blade off the floor, slide it down, and then draw the other shoulder blade up. So we're not lifting too high, we're keeping a smooth control movement and making sure we're not putting any pressure at all or tension into our neck. So slowly reaching up and drawing down. Just finding some space as we lift, shoulder blade off the floor, and then we slide it down. We've got one more. Arms rest down by the side. And we're going to come into, we're going to just become aware of how we feel through our centre. So we want to feel balanced through both sides of our sacrum. So we've got this diamond area at the base of our spine. We want to find balance through both sides. So take a moment if you need to move around a little bit to find that balance. And then you should feel a little activation between ribs and hips. We're not pressing the lower back down. We're just finding a little connection between those 2 points. So if you popped your hand underneath, you would feel that when we added movement, you feel no pressure on the hand as you did the movement, and you find a natural curve on the spine. Okay, so once you've got that little rib to hip connection, that little activation, we're going to do some heel slides. So we're going to lengthen the leg across the mat, opening up through the hip, and then draw the leg back. And then take your time into changing sides. Just take a moment if you need to reset up before you come to the other side. Hip bones facing the ceiling. And just making sure we're balanced through both sides of the sacrum. Even if you don't take it quite so far away, it might just be a small slide rather than a full slide. Now let's see if we can add our breath. So we breathe out as we lengthen. And breathe in to draw back. Now in Pilates, we're breathing out through our mouth if we can, and breathing in through our nose. But the breath out, you want to imagine you're breathing through a straw. So we go as we lengthen, and breath in to come back. And as we lengthen, we're not flexing the foot, we're relaxing the foot, just opening up through the hip. And a little connection into our centre. All right, this is your last one, and bring it back. Okay, so re-stabilize, find that balance into sacrum again, find your connection between your ribs and hips. So this one you can do, I'll give you lots of options for this one. So sometimes we want to imagine when working. It's actually sometimes you get more out of the movement than actually doing the movement. So I want you to think about imagining you're lifting one leg off the floor, but it doesn't actually lift. You're just thinking about lifting. And actually, you might feel a little bit of activation going on there, and then relax the leg back down. Okay, now here comes the second leg. So you want to imagine you're lifting the leg off the floor, and then bring it back down. So as you imagine you're lifting, you don't want to put any pressure to the leg that's staying on the floor fully, and then release. And you want to try and relax your neck and shoulders as much as you can. If you want to, you can always take the hands underneath the lower back, and you can see as you pretend to lift, we don't want the lower back to press down into the hands if you can. And as you relax that leg, we don't want any pressure, any more pressure going to your hand or coming off it. You want that lovely curve the whole time. Now you might want to stay with that and practice that. If you want to, you might want to draw the foot ever so slightly off the floor and then bring it down. So again, we have the hip bones facing the ceiling. We're balancing into our sacrum, just a little hover or not. I sometimes find I get more out of it without actually lifting my legs. Breathing out to pretend to lift, or lift, breathing in to lower. Just keep relaxing through the neck and shoulders, and make sure we try not to put too much weight in the supporting leg. And if you want a little bit more, you can always bring the knee up in line with hip, and then bring it down. So we are breathing out and breathing in, relaxing as much as possible. Just taking your time nice and slowly. So with Pilates, we want to make sure It's the same movement pace on the way up as the way down. You've got one more time if you want it. Okay, from here we're just going to bring the knees and feet together. So take your time, knees and feet together, and we're going to control. So both knees are going to drop out wide to the side. Just making sure you're staying balanced into your sacrum. So it's not a drop, it's a controlled movement, and then we bring the legs back up again. So breathe out as we slowly open the knees wide, maybe feeling a little bit of stretch into your inner thighs, a little connection up into the pelvic floor, and then bring it back up. So the inner thighs have connection up into your pelvic floor, and then through to your abdominals. So you really want to think about the pelvic floor as you bring your knees back together again. We'll do 2 more. So breathing out, slowly and smoothly, breathing in, and last one. Okay. From here, take your feet back to hip distance apart. Gently draw one knee in towards the chest. Just tuck the chin in, make sure the head doesn't want to lift backwards, chin stays tucked in, and you can extend the other leg slowly across the floor. It doesn't matter if the knee is slightly bent or just lengthening out into the hip flexor. Just relaxing the neck and shoulders. And still finding balance into your sacrum on the floor. And then slowly bring the leg back up again. Take your time to change sides. So we always bring the knee into chest first to make sure the back is supported before we extend the leg away. And again, we're thinking about opening up the hip. It doesn't matter if the knee's bent, it just means we've got a bit of tightness coming in here. And then slowly release. Bring the leg down. Okay, I'm going to do a little bit of stretching with the hamstring. So lengthen up the leg. So I don't want you to go mental. I just want you to find a little bit of length into the back of the leg. You may want to stay here. You may want to bring the leg a little bit closer, but the hip stays down. You can hold behind the thigh if you want to, or the calf, or just stay here. Just make sure we're relaxed from the foot today. So we can feel the hamstring lengthen rather than coming into the sciatic nerve because we're wanting to flex. And then slowly release. Let's come into the other side. So lengthening of the leg, but not locking it out. Just breathing. And then slowly release. Right, we're going to roll over onto our sides and come into a little bit of glute knee work. So we're going to do a little bit of work for the side glute pelvis stabilizer. So it's up to you. You can either have a couple of cushions underneath your head here. You can have the arm above you and you can rest your head down. Depends on where you want the arm to be. Just make sure your head, if it's on a cushion, is completely supported so your neck feels happy. Okay. You want your ankles roughly in line with your bottom cheek. So you've got a lovely V shape going on. And then just imagine you're drawing your waist off the floor. And in front for balance, we want to try and relax your neck and shoulder as much as possible. So with all the Pilates movements, it's a slow movement. So your feet are going to stay together and you're just going to slowly lift the top leg. You want to make sure the hip doesn't want to roll back. They've got to stay stacked on top of each other and then lower it down. So can you see I'm lifting very, very small movement and then I'm bringing it down. The key thing for me is to keep my hips from not wanting to roll back. If I lift too high, they're stacked one on top of the other. If you can, breathe out to lift and breathe in to lower.
Now, some people feel this in different places, but we're hoping to get a little bit in your glute med, which then helps stabilize through the pelvis. So we're breathing out to lift and breathing in to lower. You can do 2 more if you want to, but you honestly don't have to. You choose. Lovely. Okay, if it helps, you can bring that leg in front and just have a little stretch into the glute. Just give it a little bit of TLC. We won't do the other side quite yet because it sometimes means otherwise you have this side joining in when we try and do the other side because it gets fatigued. So if you can, roll slowly onto your back. Again, if you want to, pop the cushions underneath your head. So let's just reset the eye gaze, tuck in the chin, eye gaze always in front of you, shoulders soften, feet hip distance apart. So we're going to relax the arms on the floor, palms down, relax the shoulders, feet hip distance apart and close-ish to the bottom. If for some of you, if you need to, especially if you've got really flexible in your quads, you can take the legs ever so slightly further away. Okay, so we're just going to come into bridges. If you're doing this on a bed, I would suggest you just stay with pelvic tilts. So if you want to just stay with the pelvic tilt, you let the lower back sink down and towards the mat. It's a tiny movement, and then bring yourself back into neutral. So that balance in the sacrum rather than arching the back. So we just let the lower back sink down into the mat and bring ourselves to neutral. And that neutral position is where we've got that little connection between our ribs and hips. So we breathe out as the lower back sinks down, breathe in to come to neutral. Now you may want to stay with that one, or you may want to ever so slowly feel one vertebrae at a time off the floor. Only come up, make it quite small to begin with, nice and slowly. Hips level, knees in line with hips, and then we're slowly flowing down through your spine. So we're breathing out to come into that little tuck, breathing out as you keep rising. Now at the top, if you breathe in, we're relaxing the shoulders, chin tucked in, and breathe out as we release down through one vertebrae at a time. Remember, as you lift, we're pressing into both feet evenly, keeping it nice and small. If it feels good and you feel the spine releasing bit by bit, you can always come up a little bit higher, but just take your time. Never feel like you have to come up very high. It's never how big the bridge is. It's all about that controlling of it. And just make sure you're going in your own time. We are all different. Our bodies are all different, so we need to listen to what we want today. So wherever you are, we're just going to finish with one more. Taking your time to come back down to the floor. If you're still going, absolutely stay there. Whenever you're ready, there's no rush. You can just draw the knees into chest and give yourself a little hug and maybe a little rock, but only when you've made it back down to the floor. So if your knees are in now, we just want to draw them in towards the chest, relaxing through our neck and shoulders, and maybe take a little bit of movement from side to side if that feels good. Okay, we're going to roll on to our other side to work our glute med. I'll turn myself around just so you can see, but you're more than welcome just to turn away from the screen. Okay, So again, wherever you are, just make sure the head is comfortable. So you can have cushions underneath your head, or you can have the arm above the head. So just take time to make sure that your neck is comfortable. That's the most important thing before we work our way down our bodies. Okay. So when we look down, we should be able to see the heels in line with the bottom cheeks roughly. So you've got a lovely V-shaped position with your knees. We're drawing the waist off the floor. The arm just relaxes down to give a little bit of a small support. Relax the top shoulder. Okay, so when you're ready, again, it's a small movement, feet together. We just slowly lift and then bring it down. And remember, it's up to you how many you want to do. So we breathe out to lift and breathe in to lower. Again, smooth and slow. Just making sure the hips are staying stacked one on top of the other and are not wanting to roll back at any point. Even if it's just that tiny lift here, because they want to roll back, brilliant. So we're breathing out. Shoulder softens. It's amazing. Whenever we do work on the bottom half of the body, how the neck and shoulders sometimes want to engage quite a lot. So it's really remembering to switch all this off so actually we get the muscles working that should be working. Easier said than done. Brilliant. You've got 2 more if you want them, otherwise just have recovery. And then when you're done, just through that leg in front, just ease out a little bit of a stretch into that. Hopefully do bleed. But as I said, some people may feel at different places because either their glute med's not working or the flexion glute could do, or other things are wanting to take over into that. So we're going to roll back onto our back. So again, just readjust yourself, tuck your chin in, relaxing through the shoulders, and we're just going to have a little stretch out into our bottom chin. So we're going to bring the ankle across the opposite knee, and you're just going to ever so gently press the knee away. You want to stay balanced through both sides of the hip. You may not feel anything, but doesn't mean it's not releasing a little bit. Soften the shoulders. And then release and change sides. So take your time, ankle across the opposite knee, and just let the knee come out ever so slightly. Again, breathing. We're only gently pressing away, we're not forcing it away. And then release. So we're just going to come into our final part of relaxation. So you choose which position you want to be. If you want to keep the feet hip distance apart, you can do. If you want to lengthen the legs nice and long, away from your body, you can do. You may want to roll on your sides, or maybe come to seated. So just do whatever movement feels good for you, or wherever you want to be. So as you get yourselves comfortable in your relaxation, just take a moment perhaps to close your eyes again and refocus into your breath. And hopefully you should naturally feel that maybe your breath is a little bit deeper than before, or maybe naturally the breath wants to extend a little longer. Now you're more than welcome to stay focused on your breath.
Otherwise, we're just going to take time to focus on each body part and see where else we can relax and let go this evening. So maybe focusing on your feet, your toes to start with. Breathing in. And as you breathe out, find softness. And take that softness into your ankles, along your shins, your calves, through your knees, and along thighs, both back and front. Becoming aware of your hips. Just seeing if you can relax into one of your hip sockets with one breath. And then taking time to focus on the second side with your next breath. Your hip bones should be able to move independently from each other. Bring awareness to your spine. Perhaps notice your vertebrae, the ones in contact with the floor, and the ones that naturally lifted. Bring awareness to the front of your body. Relaxing your waist. Soften tension across your chest. And as you do so, feel how that relaxes the shoulder blades down to your neck. Bring awareness to your arms, shoulders, your elbows, your palms. Letting tension just ease away. And then bring awareness into your face. Relaxing your forehead. Softening your jawline by softening your mouth. And just refocusing on your breath. As you allow your body to sink further into your mat or down into your bed. And you're absolutely welcome to stay there. If you want to, you can bring some movement to your fingers, to your toes. And maybe like the very beginning of the class, you can slowly take the head to one side. Only as far as it's comfortable, back to center. And then to the other. Or you may want to stretch your body long if that feels good. Or just hug your knees into chest. So if you want to, you can roll onto your sides ever so slowly and come up to seated. Or you can stay exactly where you are. And whatever you decide to do, let's just finish with one breath. Breathing in and breathing out. Hope you enjoyed your session today. Any questions, please do let me know. Whatever you'd like included, let me know. And I will see you next week.